were put up on the opening drive, and then there was legitimately like no offense after that. Ja'Marr Chase was on the sideline looking frustrated, as we can all understand. Here's what he had to say after the game.
I'm always frustrated if I'm losing, you know what I'm saying? But it's part of the game, man, you know. Sometimes your emotions take over. Sometimes it look like what it's not supposed to. But yeah, it happens. Honestly, we go out there and we lay heads sometimes.
Do you think you can get it enough?
Let me tell you that today.
6.
It's usually 6 to 8. I mean, it don't matter. I just want to make a play.
Okay, so obviously Ja'Marr Chase is mad. And this is a Bengals team that invested heavily in their offense and their wide receivers. He's got a point.
Here's the deal. First of all, he said nothing wrong.
No.
He wasn't acerbic or abrasive or anything. He just answered the questions that were asked him. He did nothing wrong, okay? That's number one. Number two, we damn sure know when the Bengals score 3 points, it ain't his fault. We know that. We don't know many things in life, but we know that. It ain't his fault. It ain't his fault, okay? We're talking about a Bengals team that had a grand total of 159 yards of total offense. We're talking about a Bengals team where the Denver Broncos had 186. They had more rushing yards than the Bengals were able to generate in total offense, okay? The Bengals had 9 first downs for the game. They converted 18% of their third downs. 18% of their third downs. We know what this is about. Joe Burrow. He's not there. It's that simple. Which is why you went out and paid Ja'Marr Chase, which was why you went out and paid T. Higgins. You didn't pay them just because they could ball. You paid them because Joe Burrow said because he said so. And why does what he say matters? Because we see how they are without him. That's why. The Bengals, let me tell you something right now. I applaud Zach Taylor in this regard. At least you finally won a game in September. I mean, at least we're sitting here. I mean, at least you showed that you actually did something in the offseason to prepare for the beginning of a football season, okay? You know, you lose your quarterback. That could happen. But they got to figure out something. Your defense wasn't good to begin with. You remember I told you to take the names off the back of their jerseys on the defensive side of the ball because, Lord have mercy, they ain't going to be able to do anything, right? But then on top of it all, you lose Joe Burrow, too. That means the Bengals season, unless Joe Burrow's coming back sooner than later, which he is not, their season's over, too. When you can't get, this is what I would say to you about the Jake Browners of the world and others. If you are a quarterback, and you have a hard time getting Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins the ball, you might really, really need to consider a new line of work. You really might need to consider, like, yo, I just don't have it. You know what I'm saying? I don't belong in this league. Because I got to tell you something right now. You shouldn't have to be an all-world player to get those brothers the ball. The fact that that's a problem speaks to how bad the Cincinnati Bengals are. Their season is a wash. It's over. But at least theirs is due to injury, unlike Miami, who was done anyway with or without Tyreek Hill.
Go ahead, Stephen A. I got one question for you. All right, because you very hard on my dog, Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. Do you understand now what he means to the Bengals? Is it showing up for you?
As Lethal Shooter would say, I understand.
I have never said that Joe Burrow is not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
Joe Burrow can spin it with
clarity.
The best of them. He's special. The reason that Joe Burrow is in this situation right now is because his head coach, Zach Taylor, insists on being in shotgun more than any other team in the NFL since he's come in the league.
True.
Everybody on defense, all 11 set of eyes can see the ball at all times, which makes your quarterback a sitting duck.
Yep.
But getting back to the Jake Browning of it all, Stephen A., that ineptitude on offense affects the other side of the ball, too.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The Cincinnati Bengals defense, although they're not very good, they got plenty of practice last night because they played 80 plays in comparison to the Bengals only having 43 snaps on offense. It reminded me of 2005 when Swaggo and I played down in D.C. against the Washington Redskins. And we lost 35-7. They ran for 171 yards. They came out in goal line stances because they were not threatened by our offense at any point in that game. At any point. That might have been the loneliest game that we ever played in.
Make you rethink.
Stop.
Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? I've never asked this on First Take, ever. When your offense sucks that bad, what do you do as a defensive player when you're on the sidelines and you just walking by?
Steven,
when you want to walk by, when you talking, I mean, what kind?
You know why he tripping? Because he thinking that you got time to actually think about how to feel about those dudes.
Yeah.
Stephen A., at that point, you just trying to survive.
Yeah, you have to.
You trying to get through the game.
Yeah.
You out there making business decisions.
I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm telling you.
So there's no time. There's no time when you're on the sideline.
Oh,
right?
we're talking about
and you're on the side. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
when you're on the sideline and you like, he's sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then they come off the field. I'm talking about before you go back on. Listen, remember, it's special teams. Sometimes you kick the ball up, right? And the special teams come, right? You kick the ball. There's a gap where they get to come back and they walk by you. You don't say anything there?
No, Stephen A., there ain't no gap. Because guess what? They getting ready to punt, and we got to go back on the field after
Yeah, there's a gap.
We're on the other side.
When they punt, you on the sideline with them for those 2 seconds.
We're not even sitting on the bench. We're not sitting on the bench. We are standing on the other end of the field away from our offense because we know we're going to have to walk right back out there.
Right back out there.
Period.
Hey, get some water.
Get a
That's
little
what you're saying.
oxygen, baby.
Get some water and some air.
This week, them Bengals defenders, they need IVs, hyperbaric chamber, cold tub. They need all of them.
This is a Zach Taylor problem.
Yeah.
Like Chris said. And when you think about Jake Browning, and even what you asked Joe Burrow to do, Joe Burrow is so good out of the shotgun that a little bit of it is I can understand because he's such a surgeon in that situation. But it's also getting his seasons ended at a high level by playing that type of football.
3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
And now you got Jake Browning out here who is absolutely, to your point, a sitting duck. Because the first thing you see with the Cincinnati Bengals, I want people at home to do this next week or the week after, whenever they play. I want you to watch Cincinnati line up on offense, and I want you to watch how many people the defense put around the line of scrimmage. Stephen A., from a football context, and CC knows this, when you line up in shotgun, it's to remove people from the box. It's to make people spread the field out. They put 8 people up there against Cincinnati when they stand in this shotgun. And it does not matter. So again, I've said this, and CC, I 100% agree with you. Zach Taylor has failed this football team from an offensive standpoint because you have had a franchise quarterback hurt 3 times, and the backup stands no chance.
Guys, by the way, just to accentuate this point, they started the game with a 12-play drive. We all saw that last night. Got a field goal. They proceeded to punt the next 8 drives.
8 drives.
And they got off there. First 15.
And no drive went more than 6 plays.
It's fair. It's
Oh
hard to watch.
my Lord.
But now-
97 yards the rest of the game.
But now here's the question. This is, look, the AFC North seems up for grabs. So what if they make a trade at quarterback? What if they go get, I don't know, Russell Wilson?
Well, if you don't have an
Jameis
offensive
Winston?
line, if you don't have an offensive line to protect your quarterback, they're right. He's a sitting duck no matter what.
But Stephen A., here's the problem. Because I asked Jason Kelsey this question, and I knew the answer, and me and CC knows the answer. Please line up in shotgun every play.
Yeah.